Welcome to another episode of the INH show where we talk about geek culture, news, and
lifestyle.
So, we've taken a bit of a break over the last couple of weeks.
Well, some of us are going to be traveling and going on holidays.
Yes, well, by the time everyone watches this, I'll probably be on the plane, traveling,
rubbing it in,
holiday, over to Japan and Korea.
Japan and Korea.
Japan and Korea. So
hello to all our Japanese and Korean fans out there.
Yeah,
definitely. Get to meet Terrence.
Yeah, that'll be cool. But speaking of trips, we're still talking negotiations or talking about next year to the US maybe.
Yes.
Maybe.
Yeah, it's gonna happen.
It'll
US, maybe Canada as well.
Maybe
the Great
Canada.
White North.
Oh, I would love it. Anyways, but let's just get into this episode. What we wanted to talk about, which has been out in the films or in the cinemas for quite some time now. As you can see in the background, it is Suicide Squad.
The Suicide Squad movie.
Suicide
This
Squad.
movie has had a little bit of controversy associated with it.
Yep.
And I want to talk about this because right off the bat, I
Yep.
think amongst our circle of fans, a circle of friends, I'm not
And
the
fans.
only one who enjoyed it by the sounds of it.
So you really enjoyed it?
You know, there's this conspiracy about how Marvel are paying people to rubbish DC films. Have you heard this theory?
No, I've never heard this theory. No.
I never gave any value to
Come
that theory.
on, that's a stupid theory.
Yeah, it's a stupid theory. Until I heard that people were just saying how garbage this movie was.
Okay.
The critics have it so wrong. It's not a terrible movie.
So the critics said it was a garbage movie? Like
This
it's
is
not a
Suicide
good,
Squad.
not a good
I'm
movie?
told, yeah, from what I've seen,
Yep.
from what little I've seen, that apparently the critics have been very brutal on it.
Okay.
So I
Interesting.
think the critics are so wrong. They could not be any more wrong.
Whoa!
This movie is definitely worth watching. It's a step in the right direction
What?
for the DC universe.
What? Okay.
You are such a critic.
Well, Marvel's paying me. So.
It is it's an enjoyable movie. I wouldn't say it's the best comic book movie by any stretch of the imagination.
Right.
It's enjoyable. I had a good time.
Okay.
But apparently many people didn't. Yourself
Okay.
included. Is that fair to say?
I think there was some good points of it. Actually, should we just get into it straight away, right?
Let's get into it
Alright,
right now.
let's do it.
Okay. Well, we recommend you watch it at least and form your own opinion.
Correct. I agree with that.
Don't be one of the sheep that just reads and makes an opinion.
Agree. So, okay, you obviously like it. I'm about it. I think that DC is moving. It's a step in the right direction in regards to their cinematic universe. They haven't had a good run with Batman vs Superman, all that sort of stuff. But I still don't think that they've got it pat down right.
Well, they haven't. No, I'll say that they haven't.
And that's why I didn't
But
enjoy
this
it.
movie, to me, is a very marvelous sort of movie, if you catch my drift.
Okay.
They used
Yep.
music, there was humor in it.
Yep. I wanna
they
talk
had
about
a
all that.
stinger at the end.
Yep.
Like, this is their Guardians of the Galaxy.
So they are. It looks like they're starting to a certain degree follow the trend of Marvel of what a formula that works really well with
They
them, right?
took their playbook and
just tried their own version of it.
Yeah, and look what happened. You had a very watchable movie.
Okay.
Batman vs Superman was pretty joyless.
Right.
It was ultimately a pretty hard movie to sit through and watch.
Okay. Yep.
I still enjoyed bits of it.
Okay.
But Suicide Squad, I think, is more universally liked.
Okay, that's fair. So here's the thing about all of this. During the trailers, like the second set of trailers where they used music and all that, was really awesome, and it got me excited. And if you look at our past episodes, I've always said this looks like a fun movie. It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. I think it's
Now,
going to
you
be
don't think
good
it was
fun.
You don't think those words you would describe the movie?
I think it was fun, but it was almost forced fun, and that's how I felt
Forced
about it.
fun.
And what I mean by that is, if you take a look at, for example, the first half of the movie where they use the musics, right? Like the music, the songs,
Introducing all the characters and all that.
yeah. It was overkill. They were doing it so much to the point where it's like, oh, we're gonna play this song for this character, this song for this character, this song for this character, and all of a sudden you're like, whoa! It's
Look, I'll agree that they probably spent a huge chunk of change
Right.
licensing this music,
But-
and it was very on the nose. Like when you see Amanda Waller, you're seeing like
Right.
the sympathy for the devil music.
Yeah,
it's
right.
all these sort of
Okay.
things, and then like this.
I feel so overall for me, I think it didn't work because it felt like they were trying to overcompensate for it. Where the first half of the movie they played a whole lot of songs, and then in the second half, it wasn't as.
I think it was so much fun though. Like it's so colorful.
It was definitely
you should have
colourful.
known what you're going in for. Like you're watching
Yeah,
this
yeah,
movie called
yeah.
Suicide Squad, and if that's a big criticism for some people, it's just to me.
So-
I don't know how that's a big criticism.
So I think for me, I had not high expectations. I would probably say mildly low expectations. It sort of didn't meet it because, and mind you, I'm only familiar with some of the characters, not all of them, okay? But it almost felt like half the characters were useless. they were useless. Like it felt like they didn't get it right. So, for example,
I feel that a lot of the characters they gave.
Do you reckon they got it right?
Well, what example are you going to say?
So, and please correct me, you guys out there, correct me if I'm wrong here, but Harley Quinn, for me, she was fun in the start, but by the end of the movie, I was almost cringing. She was just more annoying more than anything else. That's how I found her.
I don't know whether annoying is the word. I think I like this Harley Quinn. I like the Joker even.
Okay.
I did like
You
all the
like
characters.
the Jared Leto Joker?
I like what they did with the Jared Leto Joker. Yeah,
Okay.
I'm gonna be.
I mean,
I'm gonna say I like what they did with him.
I don't think he was horrible.
The
but
tattoos and all that didn't really play too much of a role.
didn't really-
Ultimately, you know, like he's covered in tattoos.
I didn't really care much.
He had
of
that
it,
little
yeah.
gimmick where he had the smile,
smiley
which
thing,
I thought
yeah.
was pretty cool. Because
That was a smart idea. Yeah, that was cool. Yeah.
But the whole damage thing, the
Yeah.
J on his, it's
yeah, like-
and we barely saw
So-
those tattoos.
So let's go into the Joker character. I mean, he's not the Joker that I know because in this film, it felt like he was just like a
Gangster.
a gangster, yeah, a mobster. He's like a mobster.
I'll
That's
say this
it.
about the
So
Joker.
for me, it's like that's not the Joker, but that's my interpretation.
The Joker and the Harley relationship in this movie, I think, was I actually like this relationship that they
Okay.
have because you got a Joker that actually cares about Harley Quinn, doesn't just smack her around, and because in the comic books, it's like the Joker is in love with Batman to a certain
Yeah,
degree, right?
I
And
get
not Harley.
that. That
But in
makes
this
sense.
one, it's like his whole motivation is to break Harley out,
Yeah.
and it is a bit weird because you got this Joker who is he's diffusing the neck bombs. He's trying to he's organizing all of these things. He's a very he's a calculating and a well-planned
Right.
Joker,
But I didn't-
which is like the Heath Ledger Joker to some degree,
I
which
didn't-
to me always never really didn't sit well.
I almost felt though like Harley Quinn was locked away in jail, and he pretty much is like whatever. And then eventually he's like, I don't know, where it's like it's time to break her out.
Well,
it's like what just happened?
Yeah, well, I mean, to me, it's like Waller is using her. He's got a neck bomb in her, and so like Joker doesn't really care about Harley Quinn in the books. But when she's not around, he kind of misses her, and then when she's around, like it's that abusive sort of relationship.
I guess for me, I didn't like this Joker. Like Jared Leto did okay with it. I had no problems with it.
He had very little
like
that we saw.
Yeah, but it was just like Jared Leto doing it. Okay, fine, so be it. That's his interpretation of it. But it was weird that for me, he's a mobster. He was just I don't know. He just didn't feel like the
People are so sour on Jared Leto. I don't get
I'm okay
it
with
because
him.
I thought he did well. I thought the laugh was good. They had to do
the laugh
obviously
was
something
alright.
different.
It's different. You can't copy the same thing as previous person.
The scariest thing about the Joker in the books is that you never really know what he's gonna do.
Right.
And there's that scene where like Common, that thug Common.
No, I don't.
Common.
Oh,
the
that
black
guy. Yeah.
Is he a rapper? I think that's what he is,
Must
right?
be. I'm not.
He's been in
familiar.
quite a few movies, but anyway.
Okay, I'm
there's
not
a scene
familiar.
where the Common's checking out Harley Quinn, and the Joker's like,
Yeah, I
"Oh,
didn't-
you wanna? This is my gift to you."
I didn't understand that.
Well, but that's the thing. That's the Joker's like, what's he gonna? Is he really gonna let him?
Right, yeah.
Did he already know he's gonna kill him and just see how he's gonna react? His Common's like, no, just this. She's your girl,
But I mean, I guess look, the Joker wasn't. I guess the only issue I had is it's not the Joker that I knew. Like he wasn't scary. He was just a
You didn't think he was- not
no.
that
He was just a gangster. That's it. He's just a mobster. That's
That
it.
scene where he gets the warden and he gets him in the back and he's like playing he was 5 minutes away from molesting the guy. Like seriously.
See, I found, for example, and I know it's hard not to be able to compare to Heath Ledger's Joker, right? But he was a psycho. Like that guy was like crazy. He's a nut job. He was like twisted.
I don't think he was. I think that Heath Ledger Joker was also very like he's organizing this daring heist at the beginning, and he has this ultimate plan. And because I thought the gag with that Joker was that he's talking to Batman and Gordon about how he doesn't have a plan, but his whole movie is that he's got this plan. He's got the bomb on the two boats.
Yeah. But see, that's what I mean. Like he's that twisted. Whereas this Joker is just a mobster to me. That's it. He's just a gangster.
We all got very little of it,
But,
and
yeah.
yes, that I'll agree with. But that's fine.
I wanted
I
something
can look
more,
over that,
you
but
know?
they got the core of the Joker. I was scared of him.
Okay.
He freaked me out.
See, I
He
wasn't
looked
scared.
visually
That didn't freak me
menacing.
out. But okay, Harley Quinn.
Did you like seeing that? I love seeing the Joker in the tuxedo and Harley Quinn in that goofy mannequins. The onesie.
Oh, when they went
like
through
the
it all.
albatross
That
thing,
was
yeah.
cool. I was like, oh, cool.
I was
cool.
grinning
That was
ear
cool.
to ear like the Joker when I saw that
That
on
was
the
a good
screen.
scene. Yeah.
Like never in my wildest dreams would I actually see that happen.
But I gotta say, I'm glad that they went with. And initially, I had issues with this costume of Harley Quinn, but I'm glad they didn't do the the red and
once
black.
you see it, it's like, oh, okay, I'm glad that.
It's the perfect way of showing that sometimes things in a comic book looks great as a comic book,
stay on the page,
but it does not translate well as a film. It looks so dorky. It just
it looked really goofy.
Yeah, so
I still don't
I'm glad.
really like this particular costume. In fact, not many of them. Deadshot, I think, looked pretty cool. You don't like him just because he's black?
No, not that at all. Deadshot is Will Smith. He's just Will Smith.
To me, he was the least Will Smith that I've seen in a
Really?
movie for a while.
To me, he was Will Smith.
Did you like Deadshot in this movie? Because he was basically the main character in the movie,
Right.
as much
And
as any character could be.
I don't love him. I don't hate him. I feel that the only time that they showed his skills is when he was shooting all those, the targets.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay. And then all of a
Well,
sudden...
there's the bit at the start where he assassinates the guy. He's holding, make it 2 million, and he shoots the thing and he bounces the bullet
but
off.
that's what I mean. I thought they were going to show more of that, because I guess the Deadshot that I know was from the Batman games, like Arkham Asylum, Arkham
Yeah,
Knight.
see, I
and all
don't
that.
really know. I'm not
And
familiar with that version of
I
Deadshot.
thought Deadshot was a guy. He's a contractor killer, right? But I thought he was a guy that he's almost sits right out the back and he can target anyone. And he will not miss his shot. He will shoot. You know what I mean?
Well, isn't that what you got though? Because the
Not
only
really, because
reason
he was
got
going
caught-
around shooting. It's close combat. I assume.
Well,
and this is
when
where
he
I need
shoots
you
the
to-
guy.
Yeah, but I need you to correct me on this. I always assumed he was always if anything, he's a long shot. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
Not
But he's skilled, I think it was fine. I thought this is a great Deadshot. We got that he loves his daughter, and that
Right.
was his one weakness.
the humane part of him.
Yeah,
I
and we
guess.
got that relationship with the Batman. At the end, he's like, "Oh, I killed the bat. That was my
He
dream."
looks so goofy.
Who?
When he showed up, his head looked so big. He looked dopey.
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I was
in
a
the
bit
dark, I think that's why he's a creature of the night. Maybe.
But he
looks like a
wasn't. But he
weirdo in
wasn't
that.
even scary or anything. He was just standing there,
I kind of wish that.
You know what I'm saying?
I kind of wish he would have used his daughter as leverage or some other way, and I kind of wish he too captured Deadshot in the suit. If I could change it, I reckon his daughter should have seen Deadshot in the suit.
That would have been cool. But okay, moving on. Next character, Killer Croc. Can we talk about Killer Croc?
Well,
He's a bubblehead.
He's probably the one who got the least amount of
He didn't
anything.
do anything. I mean, besides at the very end where he jumps in the water and they show his
I would have loved
powers
it.
or
I would have loved it if we got a scene with Batman, because Waller goes, Batman chased him out of Gotham, and then he moved to Florida or whatever. That was begging for a scene with Batman just beating up Killer Croc or
But
something.
they didn't really show his skills, and I almost
I guess he doesn't
feel.
really have any skills though.
But the thing is, underwater in the sewers more. He didn't really show too much. It's only when he was in
And nothing
jail.
paid
and
off
the,
at
you know
the
what I
end,
mean?
yeah.
I almost feel like this film they didn't get the characters entirely correct. It's almost like,
I feel
we'll
like
just
they
show a
gave
little
us
bit of
enough,
this,
though.
they'll know. Oh, we'll show a little bit of this, they'll know. It's sort of like.
I think they gave us enough though of these characters.
I
I mean, with a
feel
few
that.
exceptions, and Killer Croc is the most glaring. Well, Killer Croc and Slipknot are the most glaring exceptions.
But Killer Croc his makeup he just looked like he had a really big head on a small body. It didn't look right. You know what I mean? It's just me. I'm speaking about visuals.
I don't know
right?
what the budget on this movie was. They probably spent it all on the music.
Right.
He looked kind of goofy, but that's fine. I mean, this is Killer Croc, and there's so many different interpretations of Killer Croc. I think it's fine. The one
I
they
would
went
have
with.
loved to see him jump out of the sewers, grab someone, just rip him apart, something more bloody.
Didn't we see that? He sort of
But
grabbed the.
Yeah, but it wasn't terrifyingly scary. You know what I mean? When I was playing one of the Batman games and you have to catch Killer Croc, I was scared because you're controlling Batman running around, and at any moment he'll pop out of the water. You're like, oh crap, and you gotta run the other way. He just wasn't scared. He was just a guy in a costume.
Yeah.
So, let's move on to Captain Boomerang.
I like Captain Boomerang.
You do?
I like almost everything. Give me more Captain Boomerang in this movie.
I think he was
The accent was over the top. We can agree on that. It was so wacky, over the top
accent
Australian accent. John
is-
Courtney is Australian.
He is Aussie. I think it's ever so slightly over the top, only because when you put an Aussie actor with a whole bunch of Americans, for whatever reason, it does stand out a little bit more. It does. A little bit more.
I think he's really
But he's probably pushing it a little bit more.
Some stank in it.
That being said, can you count the amount of times he threw boomerangs? He used the boomerang to hit people, but I thought Captain Boomerang's he's got under his jacket. He should have a whole lot of.
See, I think
he's
Captain
throwing
Boomerang's another
a whole bunch
example.
of you know what I mean?
That would have been cool.
That would have been cool, but he didn't do
He was
any of
comic
that.
relief.
He was comic relief, but they didn't show his skills. He threw one boomerang to break, what was it, a camera? Or, I don't know, he threw it around the corner or something like that towards the second half of the film. I think he threw a total of 4 boomerangs in the whole film. Something like that. I might be wrong here. But it didn't feel like they showed his skills, you know what I mean? I thought that he would be badass, You know what I mean?
Well, they
You know
didn't.
what I'm saying?
That wasn't his role. I know what you're saying, but that wasn't his role in this movie. He was there to be. He was comic relief. He was somewhat unlikable as well. I mean, he was likable because of his unlikability. Like, you know that scene at the bar when they're like, Rick Flag comes in and goes, "Oh, you guys are free to go if you don't want to stick around." And the first thing he does, he grabs a beer and just walks off.
Yeah. But
that was.
But
that was.
I
like Captain Boomerang. Jai Courtney, I'm a little bit lukewarm on.
Oh yeah.
Jai Courtney. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of what I've seen him in.
I don't love him. I don't hate him, but I just feel that the script they didn't really, unless it's part of a deleted scene where they cut out a whole bunch of stuff that he actually does.
You didn't like the unicorn fetish? Was that the thing
that
he had?
I don't get that. Is that?
See, I wonder whether that was a jab at Deadpool. Because there was
I thought about that,
and because there were whole like re-edits. Now, did you see any of these re-edits? Did you pick up any of these re-edits, supposed re-edits?
No.
Me neither. So I'm just curious what.
I think I just wasn't really enjoying the movie all that much.
I was in it from the start. You know, they're introducing the characters. They're throwing up their little profile and they're saying what they can do, and it's just so manic and fast-paced. So to me, the music.
But it felt so forced. That's what I didn't like about it. Like in Guardians, when they go through each profile of the characters, right? Like, you know, Rocket.
Well, it's literally like
they were in a jail cell.
Yeah.
So they had to do that. It's part of the story. This is literally forced.
This is Amanda Waller saying, "I want this guy. This is what he does. I want this guy. This is what."
So it's their version of trying to replicate the same thing.
Of course, yeah.
And it didn't work.
It is weaker. It's an imitation of Guardians. I still think it was an hugely enjoyable movie.
Okay. Do you want to talk about any other characters? Like, who is that guy that climbs walls? I mean, usually Captain Commando, Captain Commando, but Captain. Anyways.
What a power to have to be able
Bionic
to climb,
Commando?
to be able to climb anything.
But like. Is that what who is this guy? And what does he do? He just climbs walls and he gets taken out like...
He's there to die.
You know, the minute I saw him, I was like, he's the guy who's going to go straight away.
You know, someone linked me a picture in the comic books where Captain Boomerang sort of tricks Slingshot into pushing this bomb, you know, to see whether it's real or not. Because, you know, in the movie, he was saying, like, oh, it's just mind games. You know, we don't really have bombs in our necks.
Right, yeah.
And in the comic book, he does that to Slipknot as well, but he has his hand blown up. What about Diablo? I think Diablo and Enchantress, I think, the only ones, other characters that we can really talk about.
Enchantress, I mean, I watching the film, I liked the actress a little bit more, Cara Delevingne, I believe.
I thought that Enchantress, you know that scene where she calls her out and then the hand just flips over.
That was cool. That was cool.
And it's like, yeah,
I like that. That was
and then special effects with the dust and all that.
That was a really cool and a really smart scene to see the split of the change of character, how it's sort of like
and it just flips over.
That was really cool. I will say that.
And in this bit where like
amazing.
The guy was like, "Stop touching me, please stop touching me." You know, like that sort of humor works, and that's the sort of humor I want to see, where it's just it's just there. It's not overly forced. Enchantress as the villain. Now that's another huge source of issue for some people.
Isn't that weird? Is that normal? I thought Enchantress being the villain.
I think it's okay because you know Waller is. I had no problem with the storyline being that Waller is assembling this group of people who are going to combat superheroes if they were to turn villainous.
Yep.
And obviously it just blows up in her face because that's what the Suicide Squad does. They always... How can you keep these people on a leash? So to me, people are complaining about how Joker should have been the villain.
No.
But Enchantress is being the villain. I thought they held that under wraps quite well.
That's fair, okay.
It was kind of goofy at the end and... you know, that showdown, it became this CGI, over-the-top visual assault on the eyes, which was the most unwatchable part of Batman vs. Superman. Like, to me, that was when it becomes really... This third act of the movie is like, you know, some 10-year-old wrote this thing.
Exactly. What was the other character we want to talk about?
Diablo.
Didn't really care much of this guy.
Well, he had that little moment at the end, you know, where he's telling the story. So
I honestly felt like this.
I feel like all of the characters got some role to play and they were given stuff to work with. Like in Guardians,
it just didn't feel balanced.
What do we know about like Groot in Guardians of the Galaxy? Not much, right?
True.
And even Rocket, he just had that one line about how I've been experimented on. And even Drax, he had that one monologue where he misses his family.
But I cared for those characters, you know.
Well, that's the Marvel formula. These are villains. So
I don't care for
to me,
these guys.
it just sucks that this is a movie about villains. And these are the most heroic characters that we've ever seen in a DC movie.
I agree.
What's up with that? You know, the worst heroes ever, but they're actually the best ones that we've ever seen. So I like this movie. It was colorful. It was bright. It's everything the movie should have that I would have liked a Superman movie to be.
Yep.
I don't want DC movies to be just laugh a minute, whimsical sort of movies written for 8-year-olds. But they need more heart than that because Batman vs Superman and Man of Steel, it was just they were difficult to watch.
No, Batman vs Superman. It was. Yeah, it's
the thing with Batman vs Superman. See, to me, it's like Man of Steel set up this such a low. Like, I'm watching this in
I will
shock.
still say I did not mind Man of Steel. It wasn't as bad as everyone made it out to be.
I mean, they completely missed the character though, and to me that was
a different Superman.
You didn't.
It's not.
It wasn't even Superman at all.
Right.
So after seeing that, going into Batman vs Superman, my expectations are already low. So to me, it's like, well, I got to see the way Batman moves. What Ben Affleck did and Wonder Woman, they were cool.
I like the way Batman moves.
So they had.
But anyway, sorry about that. Anyways, but I don't think it's a great movie. I think it's a movie that.
You don't think Suicide Squad's a movie?
No, I think it's a step in the right direction, but I think it's something else that we could be doing anyways. I mean, they could better it somehow.
I think this is a step in the right direction. I am a little bit worried about Wonder Woman because nothing that I've seen about that gives me the same sort of joy or the same sort of lightheartedness that this movie. Because this movie had. It was just an enjoyable movie.
It wasn't for me.
It wasn't great. What would you give this out of 10? Can you give this anything out of 10?
We'll probably say maybe 6.
See, that's not awful.
It's not awful.
I give it a 7, maybe.
For the benefit of the
7.5.
doubt, I'm going to give it 6, which is slightly above average. I'm going to be nice about it.
Well, this is better than Batman vs Superman. It's better than Man of Steel.
I like Man of Steel better.
You like Man of Steel better? Okay.
I do. I've always said this in our group chats, is that I've always been okay with Man of Steel.
Okay. Well, that's fair.
Anyways.
Let us know what you guys think. By now, hopefully you've had a chance to watch Suicide Squad. Did the critics get it wrong? Am I such a DC fan that I can't see straight? Or is Terrence right that it's a little bit more of a sobering opinion? Let us know what you think.
Yep.
Like, comment, and let us do all that good stuff.
Yeah. But besides from that, I guess we'll see you next time.
We'll see you in Japan and Korea.
Yes, we will. See
ya. See you then.